Hi there, Tim here with the Nerdy Things Podcast with another edition of Tim's Movie Minutes, just minutes after the movie. Guys, I just saw Pitch Perfect 3. As many of you know, this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I'm a massive fan of the Pitch Perfect franchise, not gonna lie. The first movie was wonderful and charming. If you like music, if you like a cappella music like I do, it was just an absolute blast. And the second movie was one of the few sequels that I think have ever outdone the first one. I thought it was just so much fun and ramped everything the first one did up a little bit more. So you can't blame me for having huge expectations for the third one. And after watching it, my reaction's a little mixed because I will say if you're a fan of the series, it was very enjoyable. All of the things that you enjoyed about the Bella characters is present in this. There's a lot of Bella humor, from the character quirks and things peppered throughout. And that part was really enjoyable. It was just fun watching these girls and their chemistry together again, because that's one of the highlights of all of these movies. That you can tell not just on film, but off screen, these women really enjoy being together, and that always comes through. So I like that part of it. It's just that nothing in this movie quite worked as well as it had in the previous two. The arrangements and everything that they did for the music was a little lazy. The music, it sounded fine. They sang well, they performed very well, but it was just more simple run through of songs as it was to those creative, dynamic, engaging arrangements that we expected from the first two. And the other thing that they do in this one is introduce a dynamic that I don't think really works. So they go on tour, on a USO tour, to perform for the troops, and it turns out to be kind of a competition because DJ Khaled is on tour trying to pick an opening act for his big grand finale performance. So there's 3 other groups on this tour that all play instruments, or there's a hip-hop artist, and I think it's a little more difficult to conceive a fake band that's an actual band, like with instruments that are supposed to, create original music and have it be really good, or at least buy into the fact that it's really good, than it is to just to have an a cappella group that's fun and entertaining and engaging, which is what we got from the first couple movies. And they also make a big thing, like right off the bat, about, oh, you girls, you just do cover stuff, right? And then the other bands just do cover music in the performances that they give too. So there was a whole weird thing with that dynamic that didn't quite work. And also, one of the things that I think I enjoyed, or that really worked from the first couple of movies, was that the bands that we were supposed to be rooting against, we weren't really rooting against. The Troublemakers were a lovable group of guys singing a cappella, and while we didn't want them to win, we didn't really dislike them. There was relationships between them and the Bellas that were fun, and we just liked their performances. So we didn't dislike the Troublemakers, just like with the German group that were supposed to be the bad guys in the second movie. Really, they were just amazing performers that put on amazing songs and gave the Bellas a hard time, and that dynamic back and forth was one of the most enjoyable things of the movie. I mean, that was funny and just fun, and we got none of that on this one because the main group that's supposed to be their competition is a girl group of rockers, and they're just painted out to be extremely unlikable, and there's no charisma from them. There's really nothing that they give off that draws you towards them, either good or bad. They were just there, and that part of the movie didn't work at all. So I'll bring up a couple things that did work really well, in my opinion, or even better. And one is Anna Kendrick is featured more prominently as the lead vocalist, which plays into the plot. You'll know that when you see the movie, but I think Anna Kendrick's an amazing singer. I love watching and listening to her perform, so that part was enjoyable for me. And this movie has one thing that the other two don't, and that's John Lithgow. And I love John Lithgow. He and Fat Amy play on screen really well, if a little underused. I thought that their chemistry was good. And then there's an action sequence at the end, which in a movie like this will probably come off cheesy to a lot of people, but why wouldn't Fat Amy know Taekwondo and ninja and spy moves? I mean, why not? That makes sense, right? So you got to go with that one because it's a lot of fun. So I will say, if you're a fan of the Pitch Perfect series, you're probably going to enjoy this. It's probably not going to live up to the expectations if you kept them lofty from the second movie, but you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not a fan of the series, it's probably because you haven't seen the first two. So my first call to action is go see Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. Go get the DVD, the Blu-ray, rent it, buy it, do whatever you do because you're going to enjoy it, and then you'll probably want to go see the third movie anyways. But if you are a fan of the series like myself, go see this movie. I think you'll enjoy it. and you'll just have a fun time. You know, it is what it is. And if you like Pitch Perfect, go check out this movie. So those are my thoughts, guys. I'd like to thank you, but as always, congrats on listening.